Hey friends, welcome back to my studio. I'm going to paint my first roses. I've never painted roses before. I took this photo myself. I bought a dozen roses because they were on sale. So there's the photo. I simplified it in Photoshop a bit. So what I did was I made the glass more simple shape. And I also made it into a traceable, which is on my website, annietroe.com. The traceable is 5 inches by 5 inches, but you can scale it up or scale it down to whatever size you need. And I'm going to print it on a 5 inch by 5 inch cradled, I always misspeak, cradled wood panel from US Art Supply. I've got clear gesso on it because the wood will really soak up the paint, so the gesso is nice. I'm not sure what colors I'm going to use. I will pop back in a bit and let you know. But I think I'm going to paint pink roses because I'll have more value range. Yellow can be kind of hard to work with if you're not used to it. But you could paint kind of brownish yellows, maybe greenish yellows. There's a little bit of orange. Let's see if I can get my iPad to... Can you see the little bit of orange there? In the shadow areas, you could do that too. I mean, you can paint yellow. Don't let me scare you. It's not that hard. I like value range. Okay, guys, let's have some fun. Let's set the table. So this came to mind because I get this question once in a while. How do I know what colors to pick? Sometimes I don't. But you know, I realized I made a decision in the opening of this video where I want to do pink roses. So pink and green are pretty. Red and green are complements, and I do that a lot. You can do it as much as you want. So then I knew I needed quinacridone, and I'm like, well, if I'm going to want greens and maybe some aquas, although that doesn't look, well, it's more aqua than straight up phthalo blue. Here, let me show you. Trying to grab some clean phthalo blue. Yeah, so you can see that's more blue and that's more aqua. So that's how I pick the colors. And then I use these colors a lot because if they're not primary colors, they're really close. Because I can make a really pretty red with some yellow in the quinacridone. I made really pretty aqua, really pretty green, and then that green with more yellow and white. Just straight out of the tube. I didn't add black or mute them down or anything. Here, let's back up a little bit. Oh, except for I don't have my phthalo blue green shade. This is phthalo blue green shade, which I don't have right here. They're all Liquitex. This is cad yellow medium hue. I got magenta on my tube. Quinacridone magenta, titanium white, Mars black. The phthalo blue green shade is a heavy body. The rest are basics. Okay, what else? Oh, so I did the aqua and the blue. Well, I measured up not quite an inch. I think I went up 7/8 of an inch. You could go up an inch if that's easier. And I used a white charcoal pencil just to draw the line with my little T-square. Oh, you can't even see the words. It's rubbed off. So horizontal says table or floor or ocean. You could put a turtle on this. Up and down says walls or something, or window, something. I did use a 3/4 inch. Oh, I've rubbed it off. Oh, no, I think I can read it. Oh, I can't read it. It's a little flat brush from Royal and Langnickel. Yeah, it's a 3/4 inch. Came in a pack of 4 or 5. I like thin brushes quite often, not always, because they don't hold as much paint. It's quite thin. Here, let me find a thicker one. Same brand, same company. You can see that I'm getting shadows. I might have to shut my blinds. Maybe that's a little better. You can see this one's thicker. And I just, you know, smeared some paint on it, really. And then I dried it, and I came back with some watery, light yellow-green, just to break. I just had an urge to break up this line a little bit, play with it a little bit, soften it. I don't know if it softened it that much. That's actually a nice touch. Here, maybe screenshot. So I meant to look at the clock. I bet I've spent an hour, which seems really long. Maybe not quite an hour, because I dry, add some layers, play with it, you know, draw the line, chalk line. I'm gonna let this dry for a bit before I use my traceable. I don't know where did my traceable go? Oh, here we go. I have it trimmed out. I need to scribble on the back of it with some chalk pastel. I'm debating, so I'm hesitating because I want looser roses. I don't want to, you can totally paint in the traceable. There's nothing wrong with that. I do that quite a bit. When I do animal portraits, I do that all the time. But I'm thinking I might want to try to get a looser rose. I think I'll trace it on for a guide and see what happens. But anyway, I want to let this dry a little longer, and I'll be back. Hey friends, let's chat. This is 2 days later. Life happened. I bet life happens to you guys too. I lightened up the background a little more, and now that it's dried, I might even want it a little lighter, but it's totally fine. Sometimes I just get these thoughts and I do them. Doesn't mean it needed to be done or that it's right or that it's wrong or anything. Just did it. Okay. Then I traced my, cut out my traceable, put chalk pastel on the back, and traced it on with a ballpoint pen. And then I'm doing two things. One, because it's easier, and two, because it can help you to work from back to front. All right, so what do I mean? So I've never painted a rose before, so I'm avoiding it. But also, I mean, I need to paint the leaves and the stems before I paint any petals, because they're underneath like this big petal right here. So even though it's easier to paint the stems and the glass, for me personally, I also need to do it. It's also, I mean, you don't have to. You can. Acrylic is really forgiving. You can do it any way you want, but I like, when in doubt, work from back to front or underneath to forward, if that makes sense. I really like, I mixed I think it's a pretty good brown. I was gonna say it's a rusty brown, but I think that's a pretty good brown. So Quinacridone yellow and some black is my go-to for making browns. There's lots of ways you can make a brown. You could use out of the tube brown. I tend to have burnt umber on hand here in my studio. So I painted these brown and then added some green to my mud pile, and I think that's really pretty. Let's get a closer look. I really like it. I just dried this with a hairdryer. I'm gonna add some greens to that. And then I simplified the jar because I knew I was gonna make it into a traceable. I see where I want to maybe straighten it out just a little bit. I can see some of my chalk lines. I tend to paint over them. I'll trace maybe slightly what do I say, slightly smaller than the traceable, rather than right on the traceable line. And I'm just getting fussy here just because I saw it. So I made the glass much more simple because there's a lot, even in my Photoshop fixing of it, because I drew this gray-green line in Photoshop, this line, and then I changed the shape of the ball jar. There's a lot going on that can be confusing. But I just put in a few, like a stroke that suggests the curve of the jar. This could maybe suggest the water line or just be a highlight. Put in the stems, and then I put a little blue over this stem. Actually, I put a little green later over this stem, that sort of thing. Came back and put a little blue over there. So now I pointed those things out. I'm gonna put some white on here for highlights, but just having a few, like this stem breaks in that there's some glass or something distorting it, I think might be the right word. But it says glass without doing too many things. This is the background coming through. That's actually the background sort of coming through, and then I put in a blue. So it comes through, but I also put a little blue going this way. Something that can be simple. So I have lighter here, darker on this edge, but I actually have darker here, lighter on this edge. Because glass really refracts the light. So you can do a lot of fun things. But you don't have to do a ton. Oh, and then I did paint on the bottom, but it's not that complicated. Okay, I think that gets us up to speed. I just wanted to pop in with some of the stuff that was running through my head. I used a 1/4 inch craft flat brush. Got it at Michael's. And then this is a number 4 round from Princeton. You know, use whatever brushes you're comfortable with. I was debating about whether this is the background brush, if I didn't mention it already. It's a 3/4 inch flat brush from Royal and Langnickel. Came in a pack of a handful of brushes. You know, I could easily use it for that. I might try to use this brush. For most people, bigger brushes mean looser paintings and looser strokes. Although I am pretty loose with those browns and greens, even though I used a little brush. Okay, I felt like I just got on a soapbox there. I need a t-shirt that says something like my soapbox, or I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, leave a comment or message me, let me know if something funny comes to mind. Okay, I'll be back in a bit. Okay, a couple thoughts. So I did use my big brush, and I could keep using it. And I think, sorry guys. So I'm learning how to paint roses. These are my first set of roses. And I think it's gonna help me. I tightened up, went smaller brush. It's gonna help me understand them better as I paint them. It's kind of like if you go back and look at all my cow paintings, you can see I get better and I get more confident and looser. So that's why I keep painting some of the same themes over and over again, because you just get to know them better. And you can look at a reference photo, you can see it, but maybe it's the confidence more than the knowing it better. That might be the best comment that just came out. So I'll stop there. What else? Oh, and I just thought I would show you that the wash, so the Quinacridone is semi-transparent, and that's actually quite lovely. You could do a washier painting with acrylics. Oh, and then another thing that I wanted to mention is you can go straight up Quinacridone and add white. Well, I did add a little blue for get a little bit darker value, a little purple in here. But you can just go quinacridone and white for your highlights and lighter areas. But I went with a warmer, I put some yellow in it, and I like that, I think. So instead of straight up pink roses, we're gonna have salmon, maybe coral roses, and I don't know how this is gonna look. But the yellow is semi-transparent too, then you can kind of, I'm just worried it's a little too thick. Just add a little light glow. And that might be too much, and I might not like it. Oh, but I think that's pretty. I think that's pretty. What do you guys think? Of course, I might not be done with that rose either. It's just much further along than this one. To slow down the video a little bit, just give you a better look at it. I also put some pink in the rim, which I like doing. It's reflective light. Oh, and then I did get out Mr. Sun sticker. He's in my merch shop here on YouTube. I don't have real strong light yet, but it's coming from over here. Okay, guys, I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I'm calling it done. This is a delightful, happy little painting. I really like it. One of these days, I think it'll be like my sunflowers. I said cows earlier, but my sunflowers have gotten looser because I just kind of know that as you go along, you know it needs less information to still say sunflower. So that's part of it too. What else? I put straight up white, that might still be wet, on the glass, a little bit on the roses to give them some pop. I put some pink in the background. I really like the pink and the green, especially this kind of yellowy light green. I think that's really pretty. And I just put some pink in the background, both to have a little bit more pink in the painting, not just straight up the roses, to tie the whole painting in a little bit more. And also because I do this quite a bit because it's fun. I see it like confetti or happy marks. See, I have some on the side. Oh, I want to make sure I remember to say this. So this was deliberate though, because my vase is centered on my wood panel, but the roses go this way. So by putting this pink mark helps me feel like it's more balanced. You guys can let me know in the comments if that works for you, if that helps it feel more balanced or not. Oh, we should do a screenshot. Traceable's on my website, annietroe.com. Let me know if you give this one a try. I can't thank you guys enough. People are buying, stickers and t-shirts from the merch store. My favorite daughter, Emily, who helps me with the lives, has designed a few more designs that will get uploaded. If there's something you want, let us know. The super thanks, the channel memberships, the sharing on social media, the sending of support through PayPal for the Traceables, buying originals. I'm like, wow, just wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I super appreciate your support. I'm already giving you a hug. Great big happy art hugs, and I hope to chat with you soon. Bye, guys.